Jake Fromm, Justin Fields, DJ Shockley. Backup quarterbacks are really important whether you need them or not. This might be the fall where everybody needs their backup quarterback. I'll tell you why right now. Dean Legge from Dawg Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan and making probably everybody a little bit smarter in college football. If you haven't picked up on coronavirus yet, I don't know where you've been, under a rock I guess, but this is the time where you really will be happy to have a very good to serviceable backup quarterback. Football's a rough sport. Guys get hurt. How do you adapt as soon as your number one guy gets knocked out? How do you adapt if your number one guy has got to be quarantined in the fall? That's where we're at right now in college football. We don't know a lot about the 2020 season in terms of how it will start, when it will finish, if it will happen. But I know this. If everyone is quarantining right now, that might happen in the fall. It certainly could happen with a college football player. It certainly could happen with your starting quarterback. For Georgia, they're in a very different place than they were a year ago. They were very fortunate that Jake Fromm never really got hurt. Got knocked out of the SEC championship game against LSU. Stetson Bennett comes in, makes a throw. But now at Georgia, you have three guys who could potentially be your backup quarterback rather than just Stetson. Obviously, you start with Stetson. He's a guy who's going to be a junior in Athens. You would say he knew the playbook, but Stetson has college football experience. You cannot say that about Dwan Mathis. You can't say that about Carson Beck. But what you can say about both of those guys is, especially with Mathis, if this is going to be a slightly run-based offense for Georgia for their quarterback, Mathis, he has the ability to really scramble, get yards, etc. Obviously, I'm assuming in this scenario that Jamie Newman is a starter. We don't know who the starter is, but let's use the assumption that Jamie is the starter. Carson Beck, pretty athletic guy too. So you've got two guys that are coming in that weren't there last year that could be your backup this year, could be your starter this year. But this is really a critical time for college football teams. You look at Florida, they have two guys that can kind of get them through the season. You look at Clemson, Alabama. The top programs, they usually have two guys. This year, Georgia does as well. At Florida, at Clemson, at Alabama, the backups don't have a lot of experience. So you still don't want your number one guy, whoever that person is, to get quarantined, to get knocked out. But that is why this season is such an important one for backup quarterbacks. I bet you didn't think about that coming into the year, but you really always should. Let me teach you a little bit more about the 2020 season. Right here, you can click it. We've got a lot of previews. Starts off with who is going to be the breakout Georgia running back. Make sure to click it right now. We'll see you over on that next video.